for that money, huh? The fake news, they refuse to talk about it. They don't want to hear about it. Biden's a servant of the radical globalists, the wealthy donors, the big money special interests who shipped away your jobs, shut down your factories, and you know it because you really suffered right in this area, threw open your borders and ravaged our cities while sacrificing American blood and treasure in these ridiculous, endless foreign wars. They're all coming back home. Don't worry, they're all coming back home soon. They're already on their way. They've been on their way for a long time. In 2016, Pennsylvania voted to fire this failed and decrepit political establishment, and you elected an outsider as your president to finally put America first. That's what we did. And we did not come this far, overcome this much, and fight this hard only to surrender our country back to the depraved Washington swamp. And by the way, did we catch them? We caught them. We caught them. We caught them. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. They spied on our campaign. What they did should never, ever be allowed to happen in this country again. Never. Watch what happens. This is the most important election in the history of our country. Biden has made a corrupt bargain in exchange for his party's nomination. He has handed control to the socialists and Marxists and left-wing extremists like his vice presidential candidate. That's another great one, isn't it? I just watched her on television coming in, because the great thing about Air Force One, we have more televisions. They're in closets, they're all over the place. They're on the floors, on the ceilings. And I watched her, and I compared her to Amy, great future Supreme Court Justice. And I will tell you, Amy's made a great impression. And you know Biden, he can't stand up to the lunatics running his party. He can't even find his way off the stage without him. Look what's happened. Yesterday, he didn't know the name. He said, you know the guy, I think he's a Mormon, right? He said he's a Mormon. He was talking about Mitt Romney. He forgot Mitt Romney's name. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? Then he didn't know where he was. He said, where the hell am I? Where am I? No, he's shot, folks. He's shot. I'm running against the single worst candidate in the history of presidential politics. And you know what that does? That puts more pressure on me. Can you imagine if you lose to a guy like this? It's unbelievable. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. If he wins, the radical left will be running the country. He won't be running the country. The radical left will take over. And how about Pennsylvania? So he says there will be no fracking. No fracking. This went on for a year and a half. No fracking, no fracking, no fracking. Then Elizabeth Warren refused to get out. So they stole another one for Bernie. Bernie's the greatest loser of them all. This guy, every 4 years they steal it. So she refused to get out. Pocahontas, she refused to get out, right? They wanted me to apologize for saying the word Pocahontas. So, no, I apologize to Pocahontas, to the real one. No, you wouldn't get out, and she took enough votes away, and Biden won Super Tuesday. That shouldn't have happened. But if I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, fortunately, that's because I'm not a politician. I'm not a politician. But think of it, you talk about politicians, no fracking for a year and a half, right? And then he goes to Pennsylvania and says, no, there'll be fracking. Like nothing happened. Can you imagine if I did that? No fracking, no fracking, no fracking. I'm the opposite, by the way. No fracking, no fracking. Then you win and you go, got to go a little to the other direction, a little bit to the right, although he actually went further left, which is sort of an amazing thing. But all of a sudden he comes out in favor of fracking. And let me tell you, it's always the first thing that turns out to be true, okay? They will lose, you will lose in Pennsylvania 1 million jobs. There will be no petroleum products. There will be no fracking whatsoever. And did you see his party now is really angry at him because he's saying maybe there'll be fracking. It's a very conditional, it's a very weak But with me, you're going to frack. You're going to frack. And you're going to keep your energy low, and we're independent. You know, we are now energy independent, first time ever. So if I don't always play by the rules of the Washington establishment, it's because I was elected to fight for you, and I fought harder for you than any president has ever fought for their people. Right now, I'm fighting to eradicate the virus, rebuild the economy, and save our country from the radical left. And that's a big thing, saving it, because these people, this will end up being a large-scale version of Venezuela if they get in. They don't have water, they don't have medicine, they don't have food, they don't have anything. Despite everything they've thrown at us, we've done more in the first 3.5 years than any administration in history, and the best is yet to come. It's true. A recent Gallup poll just came out. A Gallup poll just came out that found that 56% of Americans say they're better off today than they were under Sleepy Joe and Obama. It's the highest of any president at this point in his term. Let's think of that, 56%. This is as we round the corner on the pandemic, 56%. They were much, much lower. Just remember this. If they were any good, I wouldn't have run for president. But they were no good. They did a horrible job. They did a horrible job. Yesterday, Biden told those 56% of Americans that they probably shouldn't vote for him. And for once, I agree with Joe. Did you hear he said, you shouldn't vote for me, you know? He has no idea what he's saying. How the hell do you lose to a guy like this? Is this possible? Oh, I'll never come to Pennsylvania again. I love this place. You know, they say he was born in Scranton, but he left. He left. He abandoned you. He didn't. Give me a break. Thank you. I love you too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, there's a lot of people here tonight. A lot of people. I wish the fake news would show it. They never turn the cameras, you know. I go home. Our great First Lady always says, how was the crowd? I said, didn't they show? No, they just show your face. And about 5 people behind me, right? They become famous. Why don't you show the crowd, though? Why don't you do yourself a favor? Show the crowd. Go ahead. One of the most important issues for Pennsylvania is the survival of your fracking industry. Joe Biden has repeatedly pledged to abolish fracking. He's a liar, okay? He's a liar. How do you do it? How do you do it? He went for 1.5 years. They said, remember the debates with the radical left Democrats, right? You had Alfred E. Newman, you had all these people. You know who Alfred E. Newman is? Yes. Pete Buttigieg. He was a bad mayor of a failed town, and he's going to run for president, you know? Pete Buttigieg. But, you know, he's talking about it, and does that mean everybody? Nobody is going to do fracking. That's right, nobody, I swear, nobody. Then he gets up. I've never seen anything like it in my life. And not one fake reporter back there said, well, wait a minute, you've been pledging for 1.5 years, no fracking. But then what about the health care for illegal immigrants? Who in this group is going to provide health care for illegal immigrants? Everybody raises their hand. You remember Joe? No, do you remember? This is a famous clip, but they don't ask him questions about it because they're fake. You remember Joe? Who's going to provide? And look, we all have hearts, and we want to take care of everybody. But you know the problem, when you do that, we don't have the money. The whole world is going to empty out into our country. They're going to come for health care. They're going to come for a college, free college. I say sometimes jokingly, sarcastically, everybody gets a free Rolls Royce, to which CNN says, they don't get a free Rolls Royce. He has misrepresented. You know, these people are sick. Everybody gets a free Rolls Royce. They don't get a free Rolls Royce. The president has misrepresented. Oh, they are sick people. But think of it. So remember when Joe, they said, raise your hand if everybody's in favor of free everything, right? Free everything, but free health care for illegal aliens. And Joe goes like, he had no idea what the hell he was doing, folks. He has no clue. And he's not a nice guy, just so you understand, not a nice guy. If he was a nice guy, I wouldn't hit him like this, but he's not a nice guy. He's a bad guy. He's always been a dummy, but he's never been, no, in his best of years, he was considered a dumb guy. When asked about fracking, Biden said he would sure, absolutely make it, we will eliminate it. That's what he said. Those are the exact words. And then he said it 19 different times. And one day he said, I never said that. It's incredible. And they don't question him. I couldn't get away with it for a minute. Not for a minute. Did you see the town hall he had with NBC? That was a town hall for a child. A young child. Barron Trump. And actually, Barron's far too advanced for that town hall. That was a town hall. Lester Holt. That was a beauty, right? That was some town hall. And they said, yes, we have a random sampling of people. Yeah, all Trump haters, right? What a group of people. But he raised his hand. He said, illegal immigrants will get health care. Now, people don't realize what that means. That means your Social Security goes down the tubes, your country goes bankrupt, the whole thing is a disaster. But he raised his hand. Now he's trying to say he didn't do it, and they don't call him out because they're fake. His radical left running mate, who I just watched on television, she's so pathetic, is a co-sponsor of the socialist Green New Deal, which eliminates all fossil fuels. She's having a hard time getting out of that one. Did you hear the other day she actually came out in favor of fracking? It was like, yeah, I think so. She's further left than Bernie. Did you see Bernie? I thought was the furthest left in the Senate, because you don't get too much worse, right? Then you go, instead of socialist, you go to the C word, right? She's further left. She's considered further left than Bernie. They're looking at, when Nancy Pelosi does the 25th Amendment, she's doing it for Biden. You do know that, right? Because they want to get Biden out, and that won't be hard. But at this very moment, Biden's website includes a pledge to mandate net zero carbon emissions, which means fossil fuel, coal, everything is gone, and it's gone soon, okay? And with that goes our economy, and with that goes our country. The Democrat Party hates fracking, they hate coal, they hate clean, beautiful coal. I see what they do with coal now. They hate domestic energy production. And Biden will shut you down. He wants to shut you down just like your governor's got you shut down right now. They better open up your state. Did you see the World Health Organization yesterday? They said Trump was right. They said you can't make the cure worse than the problem itself. I've been saying that for a long time. And we did the right thing. We saved 2 million lives. They said 2.2 million people. We saved 2 million lives, and we get nothing. And I'll tell you what, the vaccines are coming soon, the therapeutics, and frankly, the cure. All I know is I took something, whatever the hell it was, I felt good very quickly. I don't know what it was. Antibodies. I don't know. I took it. I said, I felt like Superman. I said, let me at him. No, and I could have been here 4 or 5 days ago. It's great. We had great doctors. I want to thank the doctors at Walter Reed and Johns Hopkins. Great doctors. One great thing about being president, if you're not feeling 100%, you have more doctors than you thought existed in the world. I was surrounded with like 14 of them. Where are you from? I'm from this one. Where are you from? I'm from Johns Hopkins. I'm from Walter Reed. But what great talented people. They did a great job. And thank you. And while I'm president, America will remain the world's #1 energy producer, with Pennsylvania workers leading the way, and that's what's happening. You're leading the way. You had the best year in the history of your place. It's a history of, if you look at the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, you never want to say state. Don't ever say state. Actually, nobody cares but them, but you know. I'm just saying, let's say Pennsylvania, you got two of them, you know that, right? The Commonwealth, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I went to school here, probably spent more time here than Sleepy Joe, in all fairness. I went to school here. But we're putting our great coal miners back to work. Joe Biden and the Democrat socialists will kill your jobs, dismantle your police departments. You see that happening. And we've got, did you see in the debate the other night, I said to him, name one law enforcement agency, just one, in the whole country that supports you. He couldn't do it. Then Chris Wallace bailed him out. Then I say, how come you got the $3.5 million from Russia? And they bailed him out again. He was choking like a dog. They bailed him out. But they want to dissolve your borders. They don't want borders. They want to have open borders, release criminal aliens, raise your taxes, confiscate your guns, get rid of your Second Amendment. I mean, here's one that's incredible. Destroy your suburbs. Okay, so they talk about the suburban women. And somebody said, I don't know if the suburban woman likes you. I say, why? But we had this. I love you too. They said they may not like the way you talk, but I'm about law and order. I'm about having you safe. I'm about having your suburban communities. I don't want to build low-income housing next to your house, okay, if that's okay. And I ended the regulation, the rule that made the zoning so impossible that you had to destroy your communities. And then I hear the suburban woman. I think that the suburban woman, and I used to say suburban housewife, I used to take heat, but I said, does anybody care? Do you care if I say suburban? No, they're all going, no. Again, the only one cares is them. Trump said suburban housewife, but I didn't say it because I don't. You learn very quickly. You learn very quickly. But suburban women, they should like me more than anybody here tonight because I ended the regulation that destroyed your neighborhood. I ended the regulation that brought crime to the suburbs, and you're going to live the American dream, and that's what you're going to do. And remember this, 29% of the people experiencing the American dream in the suburbs happen to be minority, and you don't know that, but 29%, and we're doing this for everybody. We're not doing it one way or the other, we're doing it, and I ended it. They said, sir, we can amend it. I said, no, I don't want to amend it, I want to end it. It was a horror show. And this loser, Cory Booker, is the guy that's going to be in charge of the program. The guy's a stone-cold loser, 1%. He got 1%, he ran, he was going to be great, 1%. Every week, he was like her, down, down, down. They should have picked him. But no, he'll be in charge of your suburban. So can I ask you to do me a favor? Suburban women, will you please like me? Remember? Please. I saved your damn neighborhood, okay? The other thing, I don't have that much time to be that nice. I can do it, but I gotta go quickly. We don't have time. They want me to be politically correct. Oh, yes, let's discuss it. Let's talk about it over the next 10 years. No. No, we saved we saved suburbia in the U.S. I got rid of a regulation that was a disaster, and it was very unfair, and you've been reading about it for a long time. It's been going on for a long time. It became much worse under Obama and Biden. I got rid of it, and I had a choice. Even my own people said, you never get rid of it, sir. I said, I want to get rid of it. Well, why don't we just amend it? I said, I don't want to amend it. I want to get rid of it. Get rid of it. Okay? And I think we're going to see that the women really like Trump a lot. That's happened last time, remember? Remember 4 years ago? 4 years ago, they said, women will never vote for him. I said, why am I so bad? They said, the women will never vote. Then I got 52%. They said, what the hell happened with the women? Except this time, see, this is much easier. Because then I was a developer, I was doing great, everything was nice, but I had never done this before. I came in, I said, I'm going to rebuild our military, I'm going to cut your taxes, I'm going to cut your regulations, I'm going to get you this, I'm going to get you that, I'm going to take care of our vets. I mean, I did things that, frankly, I never even talked about, like Space Force. I never talked about Space Force. The wall is almost built. The wall is up to 392 miles. It's almost built. And Mexico is paying for the wall, by the way. You know that. I've been saying it. They hate to hear that, but they're paying. We're putting a charge on where the cars go through. and it'll more than pay for the wall. But we have now the most secure southern border that we've ever had. And I want to thank the president of Mexico. They have 27,000 Mexican soldiers on our southern border stopping people from coming into the U.S. illegally. Thank you very much. No, but we did all these things. So this time, in theory, it should be easier. But don't forget, I've gone through years of a fake witch hunt. And now it turned out that they were the guilty party. They were the ones dealing with Russia. They were the guilty people. Think if I didn't have every night on that fake CNN right over there with the light on. The light just went off. It just went off. Every time I point to them, the light goes off. It's all right, keep it off. Nobody's watching them anyway. But you know, think if I didn't have every night Russia, 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 hey. And nobody's been tougher on Russia than me. What I've done for NATO, raised $130 billion a year from other countries that weren't paying their bills. They were delinquent, as we said in the real estate business. They were delinquent. And that goes up to $410 billion. Nobody did that. Obama used to send them pillows, maybe from the Pillow Man on Fox. Did you ever see a man advertise so much? I've never seen it. I've never seen the biggest advertiser. I think he's the greatest advertising genius, Mike. He's the greatest If I gave him our budget, you wouldn't be able to do anything else but watch Trump ads. The Pillow Man. I tell you, I never saw so many ads in my life. Every day it's the pillow, the pillow. Now he came out with a sheet, and I'm going crazy. That's all. That's all we need now is a new sheet. But he's on our side, too, by the way, that guy. He's on our side. Mike. And now Biden even refuses to answer questions unpacking the Supreme Court. You know, elections have consequences. Winning and losing an election, that's big consequences. And we've been winning elections. And they say, well, you know, Trump shouldn't be appointing the new justice because, well, I'm president. In fact, as you know, a lot of your great justices said, no, they're appointed. Justice Ginsburg just said recently, not so long ago, no, he's president for 4 years, not for 3 years. You appoint. Now, she was referring to Obama, I think, or Clinton or somebody, but wasn't referring to me, I can promise you that. Oh, don't worry. It's being filmed. It's being. You don't have to worry about that. That's much easier than we'll build a wall that goes for a lot. It's the wall is one of the biggest projects in the history of this country. You know that, right? And we had a party dedicated to the proposition that there will never, ever be a wall. They knew it was the right thing to do. And I made one big mistake. I should have come, instead of saying we will build a wall, I should have said we will never, ever build a wall. They would have given me so much money. Made a big mistake. Oh, great congressman over there. Are you guys having a good time, by the way, huh, Mike? He said the voters don't deserve to know. And he'll tell you after the election what he's going to do. And you know what I did? I gave you a list. I have 45 people on that list. Every one of them's a star. And I gave you a list. Yeah, sit down, everybody. Just enjoy yourself. What the hell? Look at these people. I didn't even realize you're all standing. I didn't realize you had seats. You're lucky. This is one of the few crowds we provided seats. That's because it's Pennsylvania, I guess. It's pretty good. If they win, Democrats will pack the Supreme Court with radical left justices who will shred your Second Amendment. You can forget about guns, empower violent mobs, and shield deadly criminals and terrorists. To defend our Constitution from this madness, I proudly nominated Judge Amy Coney Barrett of the United States Supreme Court and to the court. She'll be a great justice of the United States Supreme Court. She's done so well. I really found it fascinating today. I don't have too much time. I tried to watch as much as I could. She was great. The radical left is hell-bent on destroying everything we love and cherish. They're enraged and unhinged, and they are going crazy. Think of it. Very many, presidents never have anybody to appoint. I will have, by the end of the first term, almost 300 federal judges and 3 Supreme Court justices. Their heads are exploding. I hope they're happy. They want to cancel you, shame you, and persecute you. That's what they want to do. They want to shame and this whole cancel culture thing, you know. Now they're after Abraham Lincoln. They don't like Abraham Lincoln. No, he wasn't too good, was he? I said this 3 years ago. Remember when they took down a couple of statues of people you never heard of, a Confederate soldier, somebody else, somebody. I said, oh, really? The next will be Robert E. Lee. The next will be Abraham Lincoln. The next will be George Washington, and everybody laughed. They said, oh, the president is so funny. I said, I'm not being funny. These people are sick. These people, they want to take away your heritage. And by the way, are there any Italians in the room? Okay. Well, we are protecting the legacy of Christopher Columbus, okay? You know, the Italians are tough. I love the Italians. So they were going to rip down the statue of Christopher Columbus in New York. You saw that, right? And all of a sudden, a group of Italians circled around the statue, and they were having pretty tough things in their hand, I must say. And it was amazing.
Get off my mouse. Get off my mouse. Get off my mouse.
There we are, getting ready to start up the show. Of that, we're transitioning into that. You just heard Donald Trump on the stump. Oh, yeah, I'm ready to go. Da, 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 da.
I never said I was ready. I was making sure you were ready before I was ready. Are you ready?
Let her rip.
Let's do it.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday, live at 5 on IU Newswire, both on Facebook
and on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and share it to all your friends and your family.
On a Taco Tuesday of that.
Write what kind of tacos you're going to get tonight.
I don't know.
I'm going to go Jack in the Box because they're cheap. They're good.
Really?
My kids eat them. They win.
Of that. A lot of stuff going on that. You just heard Trump back on the stump at his lip-splitting best, going on back and forth of that. And, oh, there he is again. There's, you heard him in the background come in. Lots of stuff going on. We covered that. You ain't going to believe. You asked for the Halloween guidelines from the state.
Yes.
Well, they provided them for today, and you ain't going to believe this.
I can't wait to find out what's going on.
Yes, you can't. I'm sure
Am I going to be mad? Am I going to be buying my own candy this year?
Yes.
Damn it!
If you want candy, you're going to be buying it
Can't
yourself.
steal my kids?
No, because nobody will get within 6 feet of them.
See, but you know, how many houses, and I want people that are watching to write in, how many people are going to be still passing out candy? You think
That's going to be
will?
a big question. Yeah, I will say that. That's probably one of the big. I'm curious to see how many people actually pass out candy on Halloween this time because of all of the nonsense that's going on with this whole thing. But on the absurd, and we'll get into it here in a bit, the absurdity of what comes on in the state of California is absolutely fantastic. I wanted to do this. This cracked me up. We posted it on IEN, but I wanted to give you the deal of it. Now, this got to be, if this is not the most stupid petition of the year, it's got to be in the top 3. So roll it up. Petition to designate anti-mask movement as a terrorist organization. Yes.
What?
Petition to designate the anti-mask movement as a terrorist organization. I want you to look to the right of the screen that's up there. It started off this morning. When I first posted this, there was 2 have signed. There have been 4 people that have signed that. This gives me a little bit of hope on the deal of that. And I thought the sign was pretty good. The abortion thing, my body, my choice, no mask, kind of like the deal on abortion.
Right.
My body, my choice. deal. So I guess, and it's kind of a good analogy, I thought, of the one that they're trying to portray.
It's true.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
I thought it was
you should have your choice.
I thought the picture. Yeah, I was
How
kind
are
of.
they going to go? How are they going to put terrorist organization?
Well, it's the absurdity of 2020. I mean, the people just have completely lost their freaking minds of that to even do that. Again, like I say, it gives me hope. Only 4 people have signed this stupid thing of that. But that was what I was really curious. Why would they? I mean, I would think this argues against what they're trying to do is the anti-mask movement. I mean, yeah, if you're for abortion, I imagine the people that posted this probably are, but that might, but that whether they are or not, they posted this "My Body, My Choice, No Masks." Well, yeah, okay, that's the same argument they're making with abortion. So why would somebody who does not wear a mask be a terrorist when they're doing the same thing that you're advocating on the abortion end? So, again,
so they're against the "My Body, My Mask, My Choice" thing. Is that what they're
saying?
Yeah,
this here.
So they're saying people that do not wear masks are terrorists.
Pull up number 4. I'll read what it actually says in the petition. With the mortality rate of over 200K deaths and millions of hospitalization, it's time to be strict and truthful with ourselves about the dangers of the anti-mask movement. A terrorist is someone who practices the unlawful use of violence, intimidation, especially against civilian in pursuit of political aims. These people have a degenerate political agenda that is being pushed violently, both physically and biologically. Now,
really?
Yes. For one,
really?
The people, yes.
To me, that's like anyone that was a victim to 9/11 or any type of terrorist attack. To me, that would be so insulting. Maybe, I don't know. For me, it would be, in my personal opinion. Really quick, Joseph writes in that he's going to be passing. Oh no, David, correction, writes in that he's going to be passing out candy. And Chad makes a good point, and I wanted to read this out. There's lots of candy left the day after Halloween. That $26 bag will be on sale for $6 on November 1st.
Well, it probably is on sale now because they're not selling it. But on top of that. On top of that, yeah, it's probably they're probably going to be giving it, and I would imagine Nestle and all the big candy makers have throttled way back on.
Joseph writes in there, he must be looking for ways to keep us fighting with each other rather than recalling him, implying that is a distraction to recall Newsom. Maybe.
I don't know. The whole thing is absolutely incredulous. I wanted to get to this because this was an interesting story in the California Globe on that. New CDC study finds majority of those infected with COVID-19 always wore masks. The California's BYD mask be linked with the mask data by question by Katie Grimes of the California Globe on that. Once again, it appears there are conflicting facts and data and plenty of opinions about the efficacy of wearing masks to prevent contracting coronavirus. In addition to causing maskne, which I guess is mask acne, which I guess is something.
It's a real thing, and it sucks.
I wonder if somebody's had some personal experience with that maskne.
That's why I don't do the close-up camera.
Yeah,
then y'all see it.
Of that. No, in addition to causing maskne and skin infections on the face and around the mouth, persistent coughing, mask mouth, and respiratory illnesses, including lung infections, turns out that most everyone infected with COVID-19 always wore masks, according to a new published study by the Center of Disease Control. This was done. It was a study from July 1st to July 29th, 2029. And if you look at the stats there, always in the case patients or the control participants, either one you want to take, 85% or 89% in each group, always or often, and always is 70 and 74. So often is like 14 and 14. Always or often wore masks when they were out, and that was the ones that caught COVID-19. So you've almost, if you are a heavy mask wearer, you are, according to the CDC study, so we're supposed to be going by the science
Stop touching-
and the
see, this is-
data.
leave- All right.
We're supposed to be going by the science and the data on this. Per Gavin Newsom and Joe Biden and all this. This is the Center for Disease Control of that. They quote often about the mask wearing and that. They came out and said, no, we don't wear masks. Yeah, well, we do. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Da-da-da. They've been all over the map, too. But when you get the real... Now we have real... I've said, we've had real world evidence to study on this stuff. And this is the conclusion. This isn't my opinion or we done that. We went through a trial of a month, 2 control groups of that, and it basically came out essentially the same. Almost 90%, either always or often, who wore masks caught the Rona. So there you go. All you mask-wearing lovers, you are the ones that are most susceptible to getting the Rona, per the Centers of Disease Control. Yet they still are saying...
See, but then how many people, I mean, obviously, I think a lot of people aren't going to believe that, but in the event that you do get COVID and you were wearing a mask, doesn't that kind of piss you off a little bit?
I would think so, but you...
I mean, you would... I don't know. I just don't see how masks is going to stop any of this. I think it's great that they're trying, but maybe with your allergies, it might help.
They had a study, one of the ones... The N95 surgical masks were about the best. The blue ones,
right.
A cloth mask almost non-effective at all, either one, because they found out it's now really an airborne disease. It's not as you spray it, as you do like that. It actually is an airborne disease.
But doesn't it live on crap forever too?
More or less. Well, airborne means it's floating in the air, and I don't want to piss off Stephen again. But as it goes through the study, it's talking about, it does. It talks about being in air condition where the air is circulating and yada, yada, yada as a main deal on this stuff. So, again, I was right again. And I'm not saying you should eliminate air conditioning.
Don't eliminate air conditioning.
I would eliminate air conditioning as it is because it gives me a headache and dries out my throat and stuff like that. But... that's just part of the risks of living in an office or high density or stuff. And it works with any virus. And you're in that tight environment, it's going to spread more. So, when you do that, but here's, like I say, I mean, I agree with you. If you were, I would be, I would be pissed off about this whole mask thing and wearing and stuff. Well, you were really BSing us. And that's, I don't know how else you're going to come to any different conclusion. This is the real scientific, real world data that's been studied and went through the ringer, and it keeps coming back time and time again. This stuff doesn't work. And all you were doing more harm just on the COVID spread. Look at California. It's been spiking up and down. We showed you the comparison to Sweden where it went up, down, where they basically did very minimal. Done with it, over, gone, didn't close down schools and all this other stuff. California keeps lingering, coming back up and down because we're going masks, not this, da-da. We're actually thought, I think, they convinced a majority of people that they could fool Mother Nature, and they can't. That's the bottom line in this deal.
Stephen writes in, do you remember what Dr. Kelly said? I remember what Dr. Kelly said with a question mark.
About what? She said a lot of things.
Be nice to Stephen. Don't talk to him like that.
No, what is...
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah, which part of that... Because if you're talking about air conditioning, I pretty much think she backed up everything I was saying. So, but whatever. I mean, we can get,
argue him, Stephen. Argue him.
We can get Dr. Kelly on because I succinctly remember that. And there's been many studies on that going back for decades on various viruses and how it spreads in air conditioning environments like that. And I understand they've taken precautions and tried to maneuver it. And commercial buildings have more air circulation in that because of that versus homes. Yada, yada, yada. But it's still, you're at more...
But if they have a filter in it...
You're at more risk if you're sitting in a building with air conditioning, breathing, having that air, especially if it's an airborne disease, not an aerosol spray like they first contended it was.
I don't know.
So here's the one. California rules on large gathering to limit 3 families to 2 hours or less. No singing.
No singing.
No singing. Here's a CBS 2 report on this. Here we go.
It's new rules for social distancing, prohibiting gatherings of more than 3 households at any time. Under the document from the California Department of Public Health, singing, chanting, and shouting at outdoor gatherings are, quote, strongly discouraged due to the higher risk of COVID-19 transmission. All private gatherings must limit attendees and are required to be held outside. Hosts are asked to collect names and contact information of all attendees, and multiple gatherings of 3 households are not allowed in the same public park or outdoor space at the same time. They say those gatherings should be limited to 2 hours or less. Katie Johnston for.
So there you go.
No singing.
No nothing.
No singing.
I mean, I guess what are you supposed to do? Stand there like a zombie or something and
what
just...
the hell is the point?
You tell me.
And then to get all the contact info, how would you not already freaking have it? It's probably your family. How dumb.
Yes.
How...
Before we get to the Halloween...
Do you have to listen to that? I mean, what would happen if you didn't?
A lot of your brethren in the upper half of the population who go, oh, Gavin Newsom, he's so cute. If he said no singing, I'm going to cut out my vocal cords.
I hate that voice. Seriously, you do it again, I'm cutting your mic.
You know you hate it because you know
You're not
I'm
even
so
right. Nobody
about
says that anymore. I think everyone's over the him being cute thing. I think you're so... Is there something we don't know?
Well,
I'm just
maybe.
kidding. But how dumb! 3 families can hang out together.
Well, yeah, if they stand
Even if
3
you're
blocks apart.
If you're at the park,
yes.
no more than 3. What if how do they not know that?
No, you can stand, your family can stand at one end of the park, the other needs to be at the other end, and the other...
I thought they can all be together.
No, they all have to be 6... The families
6
can be
feet
together,
apart.
but the other families have to be at least...
The other family household?
Yes.
How do you not know that I don't live with 20 people? Prove it. Right? Hey, I'm getting like you now. How do you like it?
I love it.
I hate it.
It's the absurdity of this whole situation on that. Before we get to the...
Oh, okay. Steven writes in, and I feel like I got to read it because I got it. She had said it's better to be in a room with circulating fresh air opposed to a room full of people with stagnant air.
Well, of course it would be better if you're circulating air, but that's not the point. If we want to go back, and we'll ask Dr. Kelly when you get on, because we'll go over the air... Stephen, if you want to go over through the air conditioning thing again, we will. We will get the CDC and the government and all the studies that are out there if you want to argue it. Because it's went on for more than viruses. And yeah, I said, and I qualified that, it said the commercial one that circulates the air is better than when you're in a house. Let's be factual about this stuff. You might know more about the nuts and bolts of air conditioning, but I don't think watch out when we get to the stats and the studies of all how this stuff affects that. I bet you might be surprised at how this stuff works. But getting on to that, we want to get to the Riverside County stuff on that, because we've done it with the housing density and stuff in New York, and it's spreading. Just look at the real world data. Here's what they said. It's been threatened. It was threatened, and it was at the county meeting we were at last week about that Jeff Hewitt, our great supervisor, had on opening up the county of that we might be backing up from the red back to the purple, back to where we'd have to start shutting most, even the outside dining restaurants and whatever, of that. Listen to this double talk, because Gruesome said, Governor Hairgel, Warden Newsom said yesterday, well, tomorrow Gally, the mortician, will come out with the new, guidelines on whatever on these purple reds. No, mind you, there is no green in Gavin Newsom's criteria for opening up any counties. Here's what he said about Riverside County. Here we go.
This week, so they'll remain there, and we're working with Riverside, looking at their data with that county, making sure that we understand it well and that we have a good conversation with them to make sure that it's accurate. before making any further decisions, and we'll be doing that over the course of this coming week.
So there was supposed to be a decision on it. Now they're grappling with the data on that. So we're still in Riverside County. We're still not out of the woods yet. Obviously we haven't proved our case because if we were going, and that was just to remain in the red and not go back to the purple. And they're still talking about it. Now Fresno, they said, which was the other county, Fresno County, which was the other one that was threatened to go from red back to purple. And they said, oh, their numbers are good. We're still questioning Riverside County's numbers. Mind you, our ICU beds, the last I checked yesterday, were down to 39, when at their peak they were up to like 150.
But is that necessarily all COVID?
Yes, on COVID hospitalizations.
Okay.
So we're about 25%, maybe a little bit more, 25% of our peak at hospitalizations. Even though I don't care, like Dr. Victory has said and many others, who cares about the positivity rate? I want to see hospitalizations and who's in ICUs. And they are way down because the ones that are getting COVID-19 now are on the younger set. And they don't have near the symptoms or the dangers or anything else of what's going on with COVID. So there is no need. The state is at 2.6%, which is half of the 5% that Newsom said to start dropping this stuff. So the whole state should really be opened up.
Right.
Except, but, you know, like they said with the criterias and this and that, each time we meet a criteria, they move the goalposts again. So you're completely screwed on this stuff. It's just like they don't, like the World Health Organization guy came out on Monday and said, you're doing more damage, especially to the poor communities and stuff that are hurting on this stuff. They're the ones that are getting the worst end of this stick of these lockdowns. And he said, we do not recommend, we should end the lockdowns unless there's just some sort of hot spot breakout that's something, and that's all they were there for. They were not meant as a cure to spread or stop the spread, and nobody has ever said wearing a mask, social distancing, or any of this stuff was going to stop the spread. I'm going to say this, and I've said it. You're going to find out that it's going to make it worse. Because, like you can see, the bounce back, California, New York, all these others that have opened, closed, open, mask, no, have made the situation worse. That's why Ron DeSantis said, we ain't doing this crap again. And that's why they've got, Disney World in Orlando's opened up, while Newsom's talking about, well, maybe we'll take, probably because he wants a free vacation down to Orlando, well, maybe we'll go down to Orlando and see how they're doing it. Well, just call up Disney. They already know because they did it. You don't have to. In fact, you're just going to go over there. All you're doing is running delay tactics and getting yourself a free trip to Orlando, Florida to see Disney World when nobody else is there. You'll probably ride the rides and everything else because, because you're riding on our dime, like you're riding on our dime on a $3.7 million mansion because you wouldn't have got that for nothing if you weren't governor. And all the other in the freebie deals on the wineries you got and everything else. You're a flat out crook.
Wineries. Where? Are they open? Can we go?
Oh yeah, he made sure his was open. He's got
We
one.
can go to his winery?
He's got one down in Palm Springs. No, I wouldn't go to that asshole's winery for.
Why not?
Because he's an asshole. I wouldn't give him one thin dime or publicity or anything else because he's a.
But there's wine.
There's wine all over the place. They should be opening up the wineries down in Temecula where they're starving to death basically down there of that. And they're threatening to close what little bit of business they've got going on right now. They're threatening to close that down again because they're in Riverside County. But on top of that, here's
right.
the
so we're not
Halloween.
going wine tasting now?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is a coup de grace. No matter whole thing. Don't do any candy. Don't give it out. You're going to kill everybody. Blah blah blah. The dumbest. Well, the second dumbest thing was, if you're out trick or treating, this is the rule. Even though you have a mask on as whatever.
Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Ned Flanders.
You don't need a mask.
I know that. See, I'm prepared.
It's
I'm
perfect.
prepared for any situation of that. So, that's the second dumbest thing, but this is the dumbest thing they've come up with, and then we're just going to play this short clip. Here we go.
Oh, God.
Emphasizing that the safest way is to celebrate at home with your household or virtually. Altars, consider creating altars in the front window or outside so others can view from a distance. Virtual altar, creating a virtual space to honor lost loved ones and sharing those with others. And then common cemetery visits. We recommend that if you are visiting a cemetery, only visit with those you live with. Wearing your mask, practicing good physical distancing.
Now, right there, you're in a cemetery full of dead people, and you have to wear a mask
and
with
family members
practice
you go
physical
with.
distancing at a cemetery on Halloween night.
How
in the
creepy!
dark. How stupid and ridiculous is that in a cemetery?
But they mean if you're going with family members to wear a mask.
Well, no, you're supposed to be able to go with your family members of that. Well, yeah, they want you to do. Again, you're in a frickin' cemetery of that, and they want you to wear a mask full of dead people, like you're going to infect them. There's a big social interaction of people. You know what? If they have the next Don Kirshner rock concert is going to be at whatever Evergreen Cemetery next week. I've never seen other than, and this is not, I could see that. Even if buying their stupidity, I'd see this if it was a funeral or something in their saga. This is Halloween night where people are going out on that. Then they go to the cemetery to do whatever, spooky this or that and yada, yada, yada.
Or go run and hide from people
Yes,
while you're there.
Of that. I wonder who you're referring to.
I'm not going to talk about it. Anyways.
Of that. But no, isn't that's even dumber than wearing a mask under your mask. I mean, this is the end-all, beat-all of this is how they're every step in the whole Halloween guidelines of, well, you can only drive, you can't do this, and you can't do that, and maybe drive in and virtual this, and blah, 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 blah. This is how absurd.
Are any movie theaters open?
Have they? I don't know.
I don't think so, huh? I was going to say you can go see a scary movie, but...
I think the only ones that have been open is drive-ins,
But you know what? They've been replaying like all these older movies, which I mean that's cool, but there's no movies I want to take my kids to go see. It kind of sucks. So if anyone that owns a drive-in, I want to own a drive-in. Wouldn't that be cool?
I guess maybe that.
I think it would be cool.
In amongst that might be the only way you're going to see.
You know
a
how
movie
much
in the
money
future.
though that they probably made this year? They were the only entertainment
Well,
around.
not really, because
they were the only entertainment around.
Because they were making them. Well, first they didn't let them open up the concession
No, but then
stand.
they made you. But then they made you park like 3 spaces apart. It was the best thing ever. And I loved it because you didn't have that jerk that pulled in front of you and blocked your view.
I got that part, but I mean they're not making a killing at it that way, and plus not having any.
They probably,
concessions
but you know how many
open
people haven't been to the drive-in in years and went because that was the only thing they had to do. It was great.
Yeah, but still, they're not even anywhere near capacity, and plus they make most of their money on the concessions anyway, which are closed. So, even though they were, they might have been the only ball game in town, they weren't
Sean.
making a killing on it.
Hi guys, hi Stephanie.
My favorite person.
This whole thing is weird.
What?
I mean, who else is here?
For what?
Of that.
Aw, Roy's jelly.
No, I get a kick out of it because who else is here?
For what?
When he says that, you listen to it. Maybe it'll go ding, 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 ding,
I
ding.
probably won't, but that's all right.
The deal, that's our great engineer who sends us out, who's going to be sending us out, broadcasting on 1490 AM all across the AM dial. Sean, back there, as I'm getting told, as I do at this every time.
I know, every day.
1 minute.
Wait, I wouldn't want to deprive you of your fun.
Thank you. How kind of you. How kind of you.
The mindest.
But there is a Halloween event
mildest,
that we're going to be
kindest.
promoting towards the end of this week, and also Live Oak Canyon Pumpkin Patch is open.
Yes, a pumpkin
So go on their
patch is
Facebook
open.
page because they have certain times that you can go, and I'm going to try to get someone from there on too this week. And we have our special guest on Friday calling in. Can't wait.
All this stuff coming in.
I know we got a lot of stuff going
30
on.
seconds.
I can't remember all of it.
Wow.
What am I doing?
Yep.
That's what I'm
Heck
doing.
if I know. Got a chuckle out of Sean on that one.
Yeah, you did.
All right, guys, here we go. 10 seconds.
BT1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The proceeding was a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
You need like rock music.
There's a funky side guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday on the Mighty Rat. 1490 AM KMET, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire. Joining us on iNewswire on Facebook and
On YouTube, and make sure you also go over to our Instagram page and like that page as well. Share our YouTube page, and also download the app KMET for all your Android and Apple devices.
as
Did I get it?
we come in, as they join in the audience who starts live at 5 on a Taco Tuesday. Of that, reining it in on that, we talked about a lot of stuff, the ridiculous Halloween regulations that are coming up. Now you have to wear a mask at a cemetery when you go over there on Halloween because the dead people in the graves might get the Rona. So we don't want to infect those who are laying at
It
rest.
could make sense in someone's head.
Well, do you want to go there?
No. I think
Of
so.
that. No, it's that along with no singing. You can have families of 3 together, but you can't
You can't sing.
you can't shout, you can't say anything. You must stand 9,437 feet apart of that.
6 feet.
Of that. I mean, really. We allow 3-year-olds. We used to allow 3-year-olds more latitude than they're allowing adults today
You know
in
what?
the state of California.
You're right. And I still go back to that meme where the lady's handing a fast food bag, but then you can't hand kids candy.
Yes.
You can ride
Oh.
on the airplane like Joseph wrote earlier, but airplanes are okay?
You
How are
get-
airplanes okay?
You can go to a restaurant and you're supposed to put the food, take your mask down, put your food in, put your mask back on, and then chew your food, and then repeat this process 9,482 times while you're touching your mask and your face and everything, which they told you not to do.
But then after that, you can go to a Target and touch everything inside the store.
Yes.
And then bring it back home.
Yeah, you can drop half the 6 apples on the ground and throw them back up on the deal. Within, while you're touching your face in your mask and over at the Starbucks deal in there, or the ice cream shop or whatever's in the place of that. Yeah, after you've touched your face in your mask 97,000 times, which they said don't do
Duh.
because you're going to kill everybody. This is how freaking absurd this stuff is.
But then you can go ride in the streets, burn a bunch of crap, and break a bunch of vehicles. And nothing will happen.
Yep.
But you can't sing at a damn park with your freaking family.
Or at your house.
All right, what?
Oh, that's family gatherings at your house too. Does it? No, yeah, you're not. If you have family gatherings, no singing, no shouting, no doing anything. You're supposed to stand there like nothing, silence.
Stop
Yes,
talking.
exactly.
I wonder how many germs are on this thing. Hey, so Stephen writes in, what if it starts a zombie apocalypse?
Yeah, we wouldn't want to infect these zombies with.
But you know
Rona.
what? The way 2020 is going, I'm surprised we haven't had one yet.
Well, that might be next on the docket. Maybe that will be what will break the. Maybe the zombies will come out and break the curse on all this whole enchilada.
That'd be nice.
You think so?
I think that'd be fun. I mean, at least life would get a little exciting.
Yeah, yeah, we could get back. Well, not necessarily exciting, just
But then
livable.
I wonder
Livable would be nice.
with zombies. I wonder
I'll take it if
how
that's.
would gun control go if zombies came alive? You think they would like get off everybody's? Because don't you have to shoot them in the head? Right?
I don't think that. Well, I guess.
I think that's how you kill them. I don't know. I need to watch a zombie movie.
Yeah, usually their head comes off and they put it back on. I mean.
I know, but if you like, vampires you go for the heart with the wooden stake. I think zombies you shoot in the head.
Okay. Well, if they would eliminate the Rona, I'd be happy to live with the zombies. Bring them on. At this point.
Even if they were trying to eat your brains.
Whatever it takes. Well, then we'd have a contest and see who's going to win that battle.
You probably would go and eat them. I'm just kidding. You would never. Would you?
Well,
Could you scoot that way a little bit more? I'm just kidding. How the hell did we get on this conversation?
I'll bring out my dull knife of theirs. And
I'm going to call our guest in.
Yes, we're going to have Tom Baccaro on here in a second or two, get his update thoughts on what's going on across the deal of that. But go back and watch, again, if you're just tuning on KMET, go back because we archive it. We have it pinned to the top of the post on Facebook every day of that. Go watch the first half hour. I think you'll get a lot of information along with that with hair gel stuff. California Globe. Almost 90% of the people who have had COVID in July, per the Centers of Disease Control, were mask wearers. So all y'all mask wearers, use the ones that are going to get the Rona of that. The joke's on you, in my opinion, and that's what the real science and the real data said that. So, if you want to go for that, if you want to wear a mask, if you want to get the Rona, then go for it. Just don't be telling me what to do. I'm still fighting for freedom and liberty and individual choice on this stuff. But I wanted to get this guy's opinion coming in because, man, we've had a tumult. This is the weirdest election season, and I've been through a few over the past 6 or 7 decades of this coming up, that's totally going on. But Mr. Donald J. Trump yesterday and today is back on the campaign trail and his best lip-splitting self on that. And to talk about this and anything else that's going on, Tom Baccaro, welcome to Newswire Daily with Steph and Roy.
6 or 7 decades? Are you telling me you're 70-something years old, Roy?
Well, you can get something like that, but no, you could be 51 and be part of 6 or 7 decades.
No.
Part of 6 or 7 decades.
You could be part of 6 decades, but not 7. Listen, Trump's out there, like a dynamo, and he has these mass events and Biden has 20 people, and I've got a piece coming out shortly on the signs of why Trump can win. And part of it relates to the fact of enthusiasm. Nobody's enthusiastic about Biden. He's got the worst rating ever. Nobody's an exaggeration, but not by much. I don't believe the polls, and nobody else should.
I agree with you. I've said this, and I'm going to unless I see any evidence to the contrary. In any sort of honest election, Trump's probably going to win this bigger than he did in 2016. The only thing that I'm going to question on this whole deal is the whole voter fraud, mail-in ballot thing. And this time they're prepped because they're going to know where they need the ballots. And 1, 2, 3 weeks later, we're going to say, oh, well, we found 50,000 ballots over here and 10,000 over there, and pretty soon states start flipping.
Well, it is going to be interesting. How's that for a word? California mailed out 20 million ballots. Well, I guarantee you a couple million of them are duplicates or dead people or people that are moved. And if you're been around for 6 or 7 decades, unlike Stephanie's only been around for 2,
I thought it was one.
Well, thank you.
I'm a fan of Stephanie. I won't lie, but I'm. The point I was trying to make is, if you watch Perry Mason, and then the shows later on, the criminal shows, they talk about two things with crimes if they don't have the smoking gun, which is motive and opportunity. Who has the motive? Well, the motive's there to become in charge of the White House. The opportunity in crimes where they can't prove the person was there, they have to show that the person had the opportunity to be able to do this. The opportunity is all of these ballots that are just out there. And the way that left gets away with a lot of this is this notion that they say, well, there's no mass fraudulent. There isn't some big conspiracy. But that's not how they do it. They do it here and there where the opportunity is easiest. And that's what's going on. They'll pick a Bob Dornan and back in the, I believe it was the 80s or 90s, where 3,000 votes was what was needed to unseat him. Or a Norm Coleman, where 1,099 allowed Al Franken in Minnesota to take that 60th Senate seat. That's how they do it. And there will be voter fraud. We've already seen the arrest in some of these cases. So the question is how much? And will it, what will it do in Pennsylvania? Can they steal so many votes here and there to make a difference? We'll have to see.
It is, and I don't know if you followed the whole deal that's been breaking about the ballot drop-off boxes and supposedly the Republicans are putting out there. And one of them, they did put official ballot, which they did take those off. But now they're contending with the ballot harvesting rules. They can put them out there like that. Padilla and Javier Becerra, up their attorney general, are threatening if you don't take them down and all this stuff. What's your opinion? Can, under the ballot harvesting rule of that, can anybody put a ballot drop-off box at the corner of their church or somewhere and drop off ballots, and you can take them in?
Really, they can do that?
I honestly, it's not entirely clear to me. I don't think that was the intent of the law, but the Democrats. But that's a dangerous precedent. Anybody can go take a ballot that's floating out there now, fill it out, and dump it in a box. This is getting farther and farther away from what I prefer, which is in-person voting,
yes,
except for in rare circumstances. So I'm not for trying to increase this behavior because the potential for problems is really unlimited. And the fact that in a technological age where Apple just releases a phone that, with 5K and this, that, and the other thing, we must be able to do better than what we're doing right now, but we're not. So
understatement of the year.
yeah, right?
No, it is.
I do hope we talk about Amy Barrett here.
Yeah, go ahead. I was thinking this was going to be a full-blown knockdown, drag-out fight. This looks like it's going to be the easiest confirmation that we've had in a long time.
Yeah, well, part of the problem is that Amy Barrett is roughly 4 to 5 times, maybe 10 times as smart as any of those Democrats in the room. She is brilliant. I've been an attorney 33 years. I have been listening to her. The thing about going to law school, and she's a law professor, is training people how to be analytical and think. It isn't just being an advocate. It isn't just being a polished speaker. It is, do you have the thought process down? And she is unbelievable compared to many of these people who are lawyers or whether otherwise. They cannot hold a candle to her in this process. So I love these politicians bringing up these cases of which they know nearly nothing about, had some staffer attorney sit there, well, ask her this. The problem is they can't ask any follow-ups because they're not smart enough, because they don't even really know what they read. And so it is interesting. She doesn't seem to be, they're not even coming close to landing a glancing blow on her. I love the irony of her telling people, oh, I can't answer that because Ruth Bader Ginsburg said you can. But that is just beyond priceless to me. But overall, in plain terms, you watch the Democrats, and they just have no shame. They're sitting there, excoriating the possibility that she would follow Trump and demanding that they follow their politics. Oh, you can't, da-da-da-da-da. This is the policy we need to have. It's unbelievable. And they don't see that as a problem. So, look, at the end of the day, she's going to get confirmed. Not much they can do. And thank goodness we're going to have a Supreme Court that doesn't make the law, just determines whether it's constitutional.
And I wanted to get your opinion on that because we've talked with a few people about this. But I think even this probably, even if for some oddball reason Trump doesn't win and Biden gets in, this is probably the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett may have more long-term implications than anybody who's sitting in the president, just from the standpoint, if we get back to Supreme Court justices that are ruling on the law, on the Constitution, it doesn't matter a lot of what some of the goofy stuff that our legislatures or politicians do or what they do up there in the district of criminals.
It is a big prize, but I don't want anyone to believe that it's safe for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to be in power. What they would do to world peace would be a disaster by reinvigorating Iran. If somehow they won and they got a tax increase through, the economy would sink again. And as the World Health Organization's talked about, we've doubled poverty in 6 months. We can't do it again. So there is real damage they can do. But there's no question that having a stable Supreme Court where Justice Roberts becomes the fourth liberal is so much safer than a court of social justices. Imagine what Hillary would have done to this court. It would be a disaster.
Oh, wow, yes. And that's what, the only thing that concerns me is just on the opposite possibility, and he won't answer the question because he knows it's a death knell deal. But what if on the oddball possibility that the Senate went Democrat and Biden got in and they did pack the court and do that, man, then we would really be in for a disaster.
Yes, that's exactly what Hugo Chavez did in 2004.
Yep.
That is how he turned him socialist, because he packed it with his cronies who approved the socialist violations of the Constitution and proceeded to crush the country. So that's exactly what it should. The rule of law is an impediment to socialism everywhere it has ever been tried, and so they have to dispense with the rule of law. Packing the Supreme Court, that's what that's about. That's why Kamala Harris should be nowhere near power, because she is a complete opportunist and would pull this country down.
You got it, Tom. Give you a minute to wrap it up and plug all your stuff.
Well, you know, I do. If you go to carevival.com, you'll be able to get the PAC's recommendations on the propositions. Obviously, we have to turn down Prop 15. That's my message tonight. This is the clearest thing. If we pass that, tax increases, California small businesses will be crushed. But people, please vote no on Prop 15. And that's the most important thing I can say tonight. All right?
You got it.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks a lot.
Tom.
Thanks for being on, Tom. Tom Del Baccaro, TomDel.com, Political Vanguard. And he's on Twitter, Facebook, Fox Business News. You can catch him all over the place. But most important, you get him on IE Newswire Daily. Yeah, he brought up some very important points on going on in that, none other than what's going on, in that. But and the hearings are going on today, and I just caught some clips of that of Amy Coney Barrett for that. And man, this is one thing I didn't expect. I thought this was going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. They were going to do that. And, she's like turning the senators into butter up there. How are you going to attack a mom of 7 kids, two or three of them adopted, doing that? That's like, this is like the perfect storm of that. And it goes to diffuse of that. And I will say that, and like I said, we run through the scenarios, and I agree with Tom like that. The worst case, you can almost fold up the tent of America, the United States of America, as you've known it up to this point. If Joe Biden gets elected and they can take over the Senate, and they can pack the court on that stuff, because there is no constitutional limit on how many Supreme Court justices you can put on there. They could put 30. If you got a Democratic majority Senate, and you got Joe Biden in there, they could put 35 Supreme Court justices on there. If they can get them nominated, if they can get 51 votes, they're in. And that's the danger of this. They could wipe out everything. The courts could basically, they can't change constitutional law. They can interpret it, but they can interpret it in such a way that, as they have done, has been the case of the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg and many, that used it not as a judicial branch as it's supposed to be, but as a lawmaking, interpreting the law the way they wanted, not what it said in its original intent, which was what Amy Coney Barrett has said she's going to do. She said it's not what Amy thinks or what Amy wants, it's what the law says. And that's what our Supreme Court justices would do. And you can bet your bottom dollar, if Biden gets in there, that ain't going to happen.
You don't think so?
Even Tom agrees with me on that.
Well, Tom's a smart man.
And
Edward writes in, only yes on 20 and 22. Joseph writes in, no on all, but 22. Edward, again, reiterates the fact that he's going off of Howard Jarvis taxpayers' recommendations. If you go on their website at hjta.org, you can see more recommendations.
Yes, you want to do yes on 20 is what reforms Props 47, 57, and 109, which is basically where they decriminalized a lot of stuff. Where, like, if you don't steal anything up to $950, it's basically a misdemeanor, and we don't arrest them because it's And when we probably should get Mike Hestron on, our district attorney, who's one of the ones that really wrote the reform law, Prop 20, on that. And he said there are good aspects. It's not that we're throwing away, we're repealing 47, 57 of that. We're just reforming it to correct some of the things that, now that we've had it for 10 years, some of the things that's caused major problems and crime to go up exponentially of that. So, yes. 20 and 22, definitely yes on that, reforming our criminal justice system. And I don't think 22 goes far enough, but it's a step in the right direction. The Uber drivers should be able to make a living. Do Uber and Lyft drivers.
I love how you say it.
I'm glad you like something I do.
I mean, not really that much, but it's cool. Really quick, for families that might want to take their kids out. I know kids have been kind of locked inside and probably need a cute little outlet. This place is amazing. Live Oak Canyon, Pumpkin Patch, and Christmas Tree Farm. Go on their Facebook page and you can see all the times. You can book now to get in there, and all the live events that they have coming up this weekend. I think it would be a great little event for your kids to go to. They even have a magic show.
They're that, and
how cool is that?
If you go during the weekdays, I think, and come in before 4 o'clock, adults are $9, children are $4, so you can save a few bucks if you go in during the weekdays before 4 o'clock on that.
And more importantly, it helps families like that are trying to get by. And I mean,
at least that's something you can do,
right?
Besides being locked up in your prison cell.
But if you go to a grave site, make sure you wear masks and no singing. Which some people would be happy that I can't sing. My kids probably not. They love my singing.
But I know a lot of people will be depressed that I'm not still allowed to sing.
Oh, heck yeah!
Not that that would stop me for any reason from doing something like that. But I mean, isn't that absurd? No singing, no yelling, I mean, that's about as condescending as you can get.
But you can talk.
Barely.
But you can't sing. No, I'm just saying. What the hell's the difference between talking and singing? There's more express.
Yes,
like,
they're saying,
more or
the
something?
COVID's going to go out further. Well, if it's an airborne disease and it floats for hours in the air, what difference does it make?
But you can go to the store and touch everything at Target
Yep.
and bring it home.
Yep.
And sing in your living room.
Well, I don't know. They might be outlawing that, too.
Nobody can come and sing in my living room but me.
I guess the old song, Singing in the Rain,
is no longer allowed.
Yes, no longer allowed.
Because COVID might be living in the raindrops.
There you go. See, I sung on the air. I can hear the sirens of the cops coming in.
Oh, can I turn you in?
Yes.
I can.
Singing on the air.
I'm looking for a new ghost.
Yes. He violated the COVID. Who knows? You know.
I don't get how they're gonna like regulate what families to who if you go anywhere. I don't get it. But what happens if you break the rules? I'm not promoting it. I'm not saying go out and do it.
It's
but
probably a
what will happen?
misdemeanor, like $1,000 fine and up to 6 months in jail.
But you can go light a police car on fire and then walk the streets the
Yes,
next day.
exactly.
As long as you're wearing a mask.
Well, as long as you are attacking the straight white male, yes, that's perfectly fine. But if you're if you're doing anything to if you're out there trying to live a normal, happy, everyday life, that is not allowed. We're going to have to play the obsolete man from the Twilight Zone in 1961, which happens.
What?
Yes, which happens to be the year both me and Tom Del Baccaro were born. Of that, but yes, because we're both 61ers, so yeah, we both, and we can do that. You can be 52 and be part of 7 decades. We
You're
can do the
still
math
not
on
getting
it.
over that, are you?
No, because we have both been in there too.
Are you
'cause-
arguing with Tom?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I'll prove my point. Well, you can be that, but even so, no, we are because we've just flipped into the next decade. So now we've been part of 7 decades of that part. So you got to listen very carefully to what's being said.
I'm just gonna go ahead and play that.
But anyway, you go back to the part of that of going on that, and that will be back tomorrow.
And that's how you get him to stop talking.
Yeah, I guess you just run out the clock on that.
Yes.
Oh, that no, you're not. We'll be back.
Stay tuned to Friday's amazing guests that we have on, and we're gonna have some giveaways for all y'all.
Wow, giveaways, everybody.
Giveaways. Who doesn't love giveaways? I haven't done a giveaway in forever.
We'll be
so
back.
excited.
We'll be back on Wicked Wednesday tomorrow. So until then, we're gone.